Before we get into this, if you love in-depth car reviews, driving tips, and real-world ownership advice, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Hey everybody, Brock Frady here, helping you enjoy your ride. In this video, we're going to take an in-depth look at this 2025 Honda CR-V Sport Touring. There are three different levels to the Honda CR-V Sport. There's Sport, Sport L, and Touring. This one is the top of the heap, and in this video we are going to take an in-depth look at everything that makes this Honda CR-V Sport Touring just that. Let's jump right in. This is the first CR-V in years that actually has a bit of a presence. Those darker accents and bigger wheels give it a planted, confident look, but it still keeps the friendly, approachable Honda vibe. It's stylish enough to stand out in a parking lot, but not so flashy that you're embarrassed to take it to a PTA meeting. The overall length is 148.8 inches, overall width 73.5 inches, height 66.2 inches. It has a wheelbase of 106.3 inches, longer than before, and that equals more stability and more rear legroom. That's always a good thing. The ground clearance is 8.2 inches. It's SUV stance with easy entry height, and the Sport Hybrid trim gives you a black grille, gloss accents, and 19-inch wheels. Those things are glorious. LED headlights and taillights are standard, and it's got a pretty sharp light signature. Let's take a look at that right now. I have determined that Honda has put eyebrows on their cars. Look at this thing right here. It's a piece of trim that's black, and it's called piano black. That's what everybody calls it now, just because it's shiny black. But it looks like an eyebrow above the headlight. You see that? Then everything here is LED up front. You have these little trim pieces right here that are outlets or inlets. I think inlets because they are on the front, and they're like a brushed chrome look. And I like that firm planted look of the front. Big shiny open grille here. It's got a really aggressive look. That's part of the sport package. Then your grille continues down here, and this is louvered so it can open and close in accordance to its need to cool the engine there. All very nice. I like the hood. It's got kind of a rounded look that comes off of the end there. And then you got these big 19-inch split spoke black alloy wheels. This one's sitting on Michelin tires, and those tires are exceptionally quiet. Wait until we get to the driving portion of this thing. I'm thoroughly impressed. That black trim continues to the mirrors here. And then you have LED light signals right there on your mirrors. Piano black trim, that's kind of an odd thing. Piano black trim for your cross members. Look at this beautiful blue color. It is just full of fleck. You're full of fleck blue color, but it looks super nice. Something that I'm not too crazy about is that chrome trim around the windows. I think in order for it to match with the sport motif, that chrome trim should be black. That's just my opinion. Now, coming around to the back, I love the fact that all of this is just so beautifully integrated and LED, but wait, except for your turn signal. Your turn signal is still an old school halogen bulb. Come on, Honda. If you're gonna do a touring, a highest of the high level, then put LED right there, please. It's actually safer, in case you guys didn't know. Then you have outlets right there for your exhaust system, but only one of them is an actual exhaust, and I'll let you guess which one. I love the way Honda does their key fobs. If you've watched any of my Honda videos before, you know I'm a huge fan for Honda key fobs. That sounds a little bit weird, but I do a lot of reviews of a lot of vehicles, and some vehicles, it feels like they're in a race to make the biggest, most unwieldy key fob. I like small, and this one is small but super functional. I also really like the way Honda's remote start does, and they don't charge you for it. It's just on the vehicle. Genius. You hit and hold this bottom button here that opens the rear tailgate. Another thing that I love is that this is a compact SUV, but look how high that rear tailgate goes up. That is over 6 feet, and I am over 6 feet, and I can just walk right under it. Look at that. I don't have to duck or anything. That is just fabulous. Huge amount of room back here. This is a tremendous amount of storage. 60-40 split second row seat there. And with that second row seat down, you can just haul basically anything you want. That will fit inside of there, of course. But that's a great, great storage area. You do have an LED light on the right and also an LED light on the left as well. But I really, really like a couple of things back here, and that's how high that goes, and then the amount of storage space that is there. We can actually press this and the door goes right back down. Coming around to the back to take a look at our rear area for our passengers, and this is really, really nice. I have that seat adjusted for myself, and there's still plenty of room to sit behind someone that is tall driving. That is really nice. You can see that the sport trim here gives you that orange contrast stitching. That is really nice. Seat comfort. I gotta say, in the back seat, they're actually comfortable. In the front seat, they're extremely comfortable. Then you have a power point right there. That's where you can plug in your Apple devices, and a rear air register. Super, super nice. And I appreciate that fact, because even though this is a compact doesn't mean what it used to mean. Compact vehicles are actually pretty big nowadays, and they need that air register right there. There's your sunroof, and then we have our inner panel for our rear door here. And this looks kind of like it almost looks like a golf ball, but it's pretty basic. It's just black with some contrasting looking elements there. CRV on the inside of the door just above the speaker. And speaking of speaker, this one, since it is the Touring, has the Bose sound system. That Bose sound system is really deep. It's nice and crisp and clear, and I really like that. Basic settings right here for inside the door, windows, locks, seat memory, and whatnot. And then on the inside right here is for your power rear door, traction control off, and all of the settings that we'll get into here in just a minute. But I like the inside. It's really, really nice. Driver's seat is exceptionally comfortable. Like I said, bolstering is nice. It's very supportive, but it's very soft. Super comfortable for long rides. Honda tuned this hybrid to feel lively around town. You get instant torque when you pull away from a stoplight, and the power delivery feels more natural than most hybrids. It's not a performance SUV, but for driving, it's quicker and more responsive than you would expect from something with the word hybrid in the name. And right now we're looking at a 2-liter Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder with 2 electric motors. One of those motors is for power to the wheels, and one of those motors acts as a generator. It's got 204 horsepower with 247 pound-feet of torque, and that's got that instant electric shove feel. It's got an e-CVT transmission, which is smoother and more direct than the older CVTs back in the day. You have drive modes that you can select from are normal, econ, sport, and snow with the all-wheel drive. And like I said, it has this dual motor setup, one for driving, one for generation or power generation, and that equals seamless transmissions. And I'll explain that when we get into the driving portion. And it has a tow capacity of 1,000 pounds. Now on the inside of the CRV, kind of doing a sweep around the cabin from the driver's seat, you can see right there where you have your Bose sound system. And that's a really, really nice touch for the cabin. The cabin is exceptionally quiet. But you have all kinds of piano black, or what I call like chrome black trim, and you see how everything is very horizontal. The screen here is not facing the driver, and I'm not knocking that. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it seems like many manufacturers are making this driver centric, and that's a nice touch. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But the thing about this cockpit is that it's pretty basic, especially the fact that this thing is a touring model. There are heated seats, there's your heated steering wheel, and you have all of the features that you need. It's really nice. But as far as how it's all put together and presented, it still looks pretty basic. I do like the honeycomb situation that we got going on here. That's a cool little touch. And it kind of blends in the vents and makes everything all integrated. It's kind of like a touch from the Civic. But then you have your climate control system here, and everything just looks, and I hate to say basic, but maybe extremely functional. There's not many luxury touches in the cabin, and that's really the only knock I have about it. It would be nice to have a vehicle at this price point and also at this equipment level. In my opinion, if you have a Bose stereo system in your vehicle, there should be some luxurious appointments in it. So that's all. As far as the steering wheel is concerned, nice presentation. Over here on the left, you have all audio and voice commands as well. There's a little dial here and a home icon, and that has to do with what's up there. We'll take a look at just that in just a second. And then right over here on the right side, you have cruise control, you have lane mitigation, you have radar cruise control distance, and all of that. As I mentioned, right down there is going to be your heated steering wheel button. So over here on the left side, as I mentioned, there's a home button, and you can press that in and you can see it change right here. And then you can use this dial that's integrated into the steering wheel to change what you see there on your home button. I'm gonna zoom in and we'll take a look at that. So right now it says driver attention, and I'm just rolling this little dial that's on the steering wheel that I talked about before. I'm gonna roll it all the way down. Oh, it just continues. Okay, so there's power flow. I really like that. And when you push that in, it shows you the power flow. That is actually the one that I prefer. You can see the engine up front, you can see the battery in the back, and then it shows you power that is being distributed to the wheels as you drive. I'm gonna hit the home button again, and then there's range and fuel. You can see the fuel economy that I've been getting, and then we're going to hit home again, speed and time. Then there's audio. Apple CarPlay is hooked up right now, although it's not playing. Phone, then there's navigation, so that shows your compass. Driver attention, that shows you, it can determine if it has to use lane mitigation a lot to keep you inside the lane. That's when that will start to fill up, and then it will say, hey, knucklehead, go get a cup of coffee. All-wheel drive torque distribution, seat belts, maintenance, safety support. There's your safety support system. So it's showing you all kinds of different things. Now, I just rolled down once on that wheel, and you can go here, and this is where you can activate or deactivate the following features: road departure mitigation, blind spot monitor, low speed braking control, parking sensor system, collision mitigation braking system. As you can see, every single one of those is checked. That's what I recommend. But if you want to deactivate one, you can go and you can press that in, and there you have it. It says road mitigation off, or road departure mitigation off. If you find that it's annoying for the steering wheel to be nudged to the left and to the right to keep you in the lane, that's where you can deactivate it. Blind spot information. So right there, that's where you can turn it off. I turned it back on, and so now we're gonna back out of that by going up, clicking on the arrow, and there you go. And then there's brightness, gauge display settings, warnings, and back to power flow, my personal favorite. Right now the engine just turned back on, and it's showing you that the engine is on, and it is acting as a generator to charge the battery, and the engine just turned off, and then the letters EV just popped up right there. And so now we're working on electricity. Right now you see your wiper stalk, and you can see it says mist, off, auto, low, and high. And so off is the one that it's going to be in, just kind of the default. When you press up for mist, it just wipes one time. When you pull down for auto, it wipes one time, and then you can adjust this here to adjust the sensitivity of auto. But that's what I would recommend leaving it in, because auto is auto rain sensing wipers, and so they will activate as soon as it starts to rain. And then this is for operating the rear wiper. You also have auto over here on your turn signal stalk, and that is going to be for your automatic headlights, and they will cut on automatically at night. And then you can roll it to off if you want to, but notice that it goes back, it clicks back. Now you can place it manually in parking lights and then your headlights on, but then for off you can do that and it will turn the lights off, and I can see them turning on in the front there. And then of course there's your turn signal. Okay, now let's take a look at the infotainment. Whenever you press the home button, you have this screen. You also have 3 screens because you see 3 little dots right there, and you see an arrow. So you can either hit that arrow or you can swipe. The next screen over is settings. The next screen over is going to be more smart things, and the reason I say that is because you have smart shortcuts. We'll get to that in just a second. All apps, whenever you press that, that has a vertical list, and you can just go down here and you can see how effective the touch screen system in this thing is. It's really, really nice and effective. You see that? And so all this really shows is that these are all checked on the right side so that they show on the home screen. I can open the app from this screen as well. Let me give you an example. See, I can hit vehicle settings and it will go to vehicle settings, and then you have this really slick screen of really nice stuff, and then you can scroll over and it will actually show you an in-depth how to do these things or what all of these mean, right? Well, I can go back out of that and just go right back. So when I press all apps, I can check this and it will show up on my home screen. I like that. So now all of those were checked, so all of those are going to show up. And whenever I press navigation, I can go to the integrated Honda navigation system. It's a little bit blocky and a little clunky. You can see when I scroll out, it's a little pixelated and it's not very smooth. So something that I prefer instead of using the factory built navigation is going to Apple CarPlay and using the navigation via Apple CarPlay by going to Maps. Then it will send that to your phone, and it will send it to your Apple Watch if you're wearing an Apple Watch, and you'll get the little notifications for turn-by-turn directions on your Apple Watch as well. So that's nice. So then you have all of this, and this is integrated with my iPhone, and so you can just use this. And then there's Spotify, and there you go. And then there's your phone, and then all kinds of apps right there. But that is all in Apple CarPlay. Bluetooth audio simply allows you to control things like setting up your phone. Go to Apple CarPlay or connected device. Power flow, this is neat. You can see what's going on with your power flow in your vehicle. And what I mean by power flow, you can see the engine here. And then when the engine cuts on, you will see lines that are directed, whether they're to the battery or to the drive wheels. And then over here on the left side, it will show you real-time miles per gallon. And then you have range over here on the right side. I really like that screen, kind of watching that while I drive, because I like to hypermile and in order to maximize my fuel efficiency. That's a nice screen to have. Then you have XM radio, then you have FM, and of course phone. Scrolling over, general settings, Vehicle settings. So general settings are going to be things like system settings, smartphone connections, display, voice control, sound. So for example, we can hit voice control mode and it's in normal. And I really like how Honda gives you a kind of like a summary of what the feature does. That's really, really nice. So you can see that we're just hitting back, and that was all under general settings. Now, vehicle settings, and this says for driver 2 because I have the driver 2 key on my person right now. This is really nice. This is where you're going to want to go whenever you first get a vehicle like this and kind of play with the different settings. So TPMS calibration is tire pressure monitor system, driver assist system setup. And so you can go here and look at all of these different features and kind of what they mean and what they do. So in this one, this normal setting is selected for distance for forward collision warning, audible and visual alerts. And so that's normal. So whenever you're first, I'm gonna go back to that. Whenever you first get this and you're first getting used to how the system works, you might want long so that it warns you as you're further away from the vehicle in front of you. So this is just all kinds of different things that have to do with driver assist system setup. And you can see here, it is really, really extensive. And that's why I recommend familiarizing yourself with this kind of stuff when you first get one of these. I really like this. Now, you see here, driver door only for door unlock mode. You can change that. And so when you select which one you want to unlock when you grab the driver's door handle. So driver's door only. That's nice for safety. But if you're going to your garage or you're going to a, if you just don't want the driver's door only to unlock, you can press all doors. And now whenever I touch the door handle with the key fob on my person, all the doors are going to unlock. Look at all these different menu items that you have to pick from. Remote start system. By the way, Honda has a fabulous remote start system that I really, really like. And I use it in the winter, I use it in the summer, and it's just great. So you can use that right here. And I really appreciate how Honda just puts it on the vehicle. They don't make you pay a subscription fee for it. That's really great. So those are the types of things that you're going to see under keyless access setup. And then you have another page all right there. So that's really, really sweet. Trip computer, USB, system updates. Now take a look at smart shortcuts. This is pretty cool. Call suggestions unavailable when Apple CarPlay. Yeah. Learning over time. Based on your listening, navigation, and calling history and preferences, the vehicle will learn and continue to improve over time. Press and hold shortcuts to provide feedback. Your feedback can help the vehicle grow smarter. And then you can hit get started. That is just super cool. So I don't know that I would say that it's AI, artificial intelligence, but it's kind of allowing the vehicle to get to know you. That is your home screen and all the different things that are inside your home screen. And as I showed you before, you can customize this as well. Now here's going to be the center of the console. Right here is your climate system settings, 3-way power, heated seats. Then you have 3 dials here, auto, fan control, sync. And whenever you press auto right here, it sets it to automatic climate control so that it makes it work just like the central air in your house. When you turn this, it takes over and it automatically will adjust, or it will manually adjust the fan speed. When you press sync here, it syncs the temperature so that the temperature remains the same throughout the cabin, but it is dual zone climate control. Recirculate mode, so that is fan speed direction, and then that is front defrost and rear and side mirror defrost, AC right there. Then further down right here is going to be power points. That's USB power point, and then that is USB-C power point with a lighter adapter right there. You do have a wireless charging pad here with additional a little bit of additional storage. Then you have drive mode selector right here, and whenever you toggle this up and down, it shows on your center cluster what mode you're in. Right now we are in snow, then there's econ, then there's normal, then there's sport, and that's it. And then this is like a downhill assist control for when you are going down a rocky hill. And then this is your parking, and this is brake hold, and it holds the brake for you automatically at stoplights when you come to a complete stop. Putting it in reverse, let's take a look at the backup camera. Here is your backup camera. You can see the yellow grid there on the screen, and it is dynamic so that when you turn it, it turns with the steering wheel and puts it in the position to know that if you keep the steering wheel at that angle, that is where you're gonna end up. And I like the humming. It's got like a robotic drone rolling down the windows. You can hear that right there. And so that lets people on the outside of the vehicle know that there is a vehicle nearby, because you cannot hear the engine because it's operating by battery right now because it's a hybrid. Cool safety feature right there. But that is your backup camera, and then you can hit that to change the angle, and that's looking directly down in case you have a trailer hitch right there. And then this lets you know your proximity sensors right there will let you know when you're getting too close to something. And then this is daytime, nighttime view or display off. Now I've been sitting for a while filming the interior shots of this vehicle, so the engine is going to be running for a while. But one of the things that I told you that I was going to kind of go into a little bit more depth of it. By the way, this is how you adjust the steering wheel. There is a handle right here on the left side, down here on the left side, and you just push that down toward the floor. You can then pull, and it's tilt and telescope. I like it kind of low, and then lock that back up. All right, so now for the driving portion. This is what I really like about this car. I've so enjoyed driving this CR-V over the past few days. It's just a pleasure to drive. Not from the aspect of a performance situation, but just the fact that it is just so easy. It's easy to operate. Now, I kind of dogged it on the interior as far as everything being basic, but visiting that again, the thing that I like about that is the fact that there are no buttons and everything to confuse you. It's simple and it's clean and it's easy, so that's a good part about this. All right, as you already know the drill, we're gonna put it on the floor. And so that's nice because that sounded like a multi-speed transmission, but it is an eCVT system. So this is a continuous variable, and I like the little bit of an engine noise that you have when you really mash on it, and it's got good torque. It's not gonna be taken out for track day. That's not the point though. It has acceptable, good pickup. That's good. It can get out of its own way whenever you're getting onto the highway, and that's what people consider most important about acceleration. That's nice. By the way, I was in sport mode just then, and I've been in econ this whole time that I've been driving this vehicle for these past few days, and it's been wonderful. Even in econ mode, that was literally the first time I have put it into sport mode, and because econ mode is totally acceptable. This is going to be the kind of basic driving that you're going to be doing in this thing anyways. In the city, back and forth, running errands, just doing things about town, taking it on a trip, maybe to the mountains every once in a while or something to that effect. And this thing checks every one of those boxes. Starting with the quiet cabin. Now I'm on kind of a loud, rough road right now, but the cabin is exceptionally quiet. I mean, so quiet that my wife and I were actually riding around in it, and she was like, my goodness. And she sees all the cars. She rides with me in all the cars that I review. She was like, this thing is incredibly quiet. Listen. And it's just so nice. I also read in my research that Honda has done a double laminated glass for the windshield, and it is, you can tell because there's such little wind noise on the highway. It's just really nice. Adding to that is the fact that these seats are incredibly supportive but forgiving, and my wife, as she deems it, they're soft and squishy, and that is just the best terminology that I can come up with, because that's exactly what they are. But they're also supportive, so for a long trip this would be no problem. Now for me, who is a person that is just nerds out on things, I like to take this and I like to put this on the screen so that I can see exactly what I'm getting while I'm driving. So this is the flow, kind of power flow right there. So I have that, and then I have I'm on the highway now, and so I'm simply going to press set and let the cruise control take over, and that is it. And now the radar cruise is working. It's monitoring the distance between me and that vehicle that's in front of me, and now I can just basically kind of just steer. And so if I get too close, it's not gonna let me get too close. But if that vehicle in front of me goes into like emergency panic braking, this is going to do the same to mitigate any collision. It's exceptionally an exceptional good system that Honda has. The steering is light. It's agile, a little bit more finely tuned in sport mode. Although you're not really going to be focusing on how light and agile or how stiff and, you know, how it cuts with precision, the steering. That's really not going to be your focus in this vehicle. It's just going to be, does it do what I need it to do in a comfortable way? And yes is the answer to that. For right around $40,000, this thing is a winner. If you don't need a third row, you want something that's sporty, you want something that's got a great stereo and luxury features with features on the inside that are easy to understand, although some may say they're kind of Spartan a little, but it's just got a great feel about it. I have enjoyed it, and I really recommend the Honda CR-V Sport Hybrid Touring. Mouthful. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Remember, hit that subscribe button, and thank you again to Impex Auto Sales for the opportunity to review this hybrid sport CR-V. But remember, the most important thing of all, everybody, have a wonderful day.